The title of my message today is Don't Worry, Be Happy. That's not very original, but it's certainly applicable to what I want to talk about today. I saw in the local news that a psychiatrist had given a report, you know how they do it, and said that she has many patients that are coming into her office nowadays that are really depressed, and they attribute it to the isolation, the COVID lifestyle, the government shutdown, unemployment, and the uncertainty that's in our future. So I didn't sense that I don't think she said anything about how this compared to last year at this time, because a lot of people get discouraged and depressed this time of year. All she said is that her office has been very busy helping people to cope with this abnormal lifestyle we're all living just now. And I understand that because I feel less than happy and somewhat dismayed over the election results and the prospects of the future, and as well as this COVID thing that's going on. And maybe you feel that way as well. And so I want to talk to you about a thing called happiness. But over the past year, it's just been an extraordinary roller coaster for us. We hear one thing from the scientists and another thing from the governor, and it just seems to go on and on. None of us seems to be certain about what to do or how we do it, except wear a mask. And I guess I'll go ahead and do that, just to protect others from possibility of me giving them that. So I imagine over this past year, this roller coaster ride has been a struggle for just about everybody. And who wouldn't be drained after going through the year 2020? In fact, I hear a number of places where people are all ready to just put 2020 behind us and move on to the next year. And so if you're like me, somewhat emotionally drained, discouraged, mildly depressed, then do nothing. But if you want to overcome these feelings of depression, these unhappy feelings that you have, and become happy, then do something. And here's what I recommend that you do. You ask the Lord for his help, then you go after this thing called happiness. Oh, it's there. We just have to go get it. Have you ever really been happy? Most of us would say yes. But have you been happy for more than just a few days? Every time I get a new vehicle or a new bow or a new something, yeah, I'm happy for a few days. But then life comes back to normal and I'm not so happy as I was. It seems that happiness for me sometimes comes and it goes. And when all is going my way, yeah, I'm really happy. But when it doesn't go all my way, well, then it's less than happy. I'm not saying I'm unhappy, depending on the circumstances, of course. Now, when I speak about happiness, I'm not suggesting that you're going to be happy 100% of the time, because tragedy can make us very unhappy. And we all face tremendous tragedies in life. But for a normal lifestyle, with the ups and downs of life, I want to talk about being happy and continuing to be happy outside these tragedies and these very difficulties that we have come into our life. Typically, we associate happiness with good circumstances, which frequently change, making happiness what? Elusive. Plan on your circumstances to change. That's a fact. Who would ever have dreamed that this virus would cause us to social distance? I've never social distanced in my life, and I am a very social person. And I like to talk to people and be with people. And it does make me happy to do that. I've been reading a book that was written in 1998 by a man by the name of Dennis Prager. He's a Jewish speaker. He's brilliant, and he's written several books. One I have just been reading is entitled Happiness is a Serious Problem. And I have that, and I'm reading it, and I just want to let you know that some of the things that I'm going to share with you today come right from Dennis. Not all, and I have a commentary on a lot of the things that he has to say about happiness. And I'll try to remember to mention the things that he has, that I've quoted him on. The first thing I want to do is talk about a truth. And the truth number one is social distancing will decrease our happiness. And that's my own. And I thought that was pretty unique. So, or to put it another way, social distancing will increase your unhappiness. And perhaps that's what the psychiatrist was really saying. People who are tired of being socially distanced. Conversely, getting social will increase your happiness. Not only will it increase your happiness, it'll increase happiness for others too. This being true, then socializing with others will return your social happiness, and social happiness is good. I've been calling people on the phone just to have a little visit, and it picks me up, especially when I talk to my brothers and sisters and my family, and I like that. So do not isolate yourself because of this virus. Call folks, write a letter, visit with them outside, wearing your mask if you must. I'm still uncertain about the whole mask thing, but Becky and I are wearing it anyhow. And we have had some here in our church, I understand, have been exposed, and one has developed this virus, and I think getting over it. But you can get your personal happiness back but can you get your personal happiness when things change in your life and life really lets you down? Yes. Getting social with other people will lift your spirit and bring some happiness. Why do you think we all call a close friend when things happen in our life that are hard to deal with? Because it helps. But your happiness can fade away. Remember, happiness is elusive, which means we must work at getting our happy back, keeping in mind that the Lord is always there to help you. We will never be happy without Christ in our heart. The truth number 2 I want to mention, and this is mine, the dynamic life is a happy life. A happy life typically comes from an unhappy life typically comes from a spiritually inactive lifestyle, while a happy life comes from the dynamic lifestyle. It all boils down to this. If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, do something good for another person. If you choose to be depressed and live in an unhappy lifestyle, do nothing. Aha! Happiness is then a choice that we all have to make, right? Do something good for another person or do nothing will help define your happiness or your unhappiness. Truth number 3, we cannot depend on circumstances for our happiness. True happiness is typically associated with circumstances which I've already mentioned. But circumstances change continually. So if events go south, they change, can you still be happy? Listen to what Paul writes. He has been through this. Philippians 4:11-13. Paul writes, I am not saying this because I am in need. I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, so do we. And I know what it is to have plenty, and I think we do as well. I have learned the secret of being content. This is a secret that we need to have revealed, that we need to uncover. And how do you find out what secrets are? You ask questions, you look around, you read, you discover things, and you will uncover the secret. Paul is talking about a secret, and he gives us what it is. He says, I have learned the secret of being content, that's happy, in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or living in want. And here's the secret. I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength. I think that is a verse we all need to memorize and repeat it daily, that we can do all things through Christ who gives us the strength and the power to do it. Truth number 4, you must keep working on happiness. Now, I would say that I am a happy person, but unfortunately, happiness has come and gone several times in my life. You can become quite happy, but unless you continue to work on it, you'll lose it. I'm not sure if you see me as a happy man or a moody man. I want to be happy. I don't want to be moody. And what I have discovered is that there are moody and there are happy people in the world. So I've decided to go ahead and work on this happiness. I'm going to push the moody out of my life And I'm going to replace it with a happiness that comes only from Christ. And I invite you to join me. And let's dialogue about this over the days that come. Because I think we all want to overcome what we're involved in and become happy. Truth number 4, moody people usually marry happy people. Now, what do you suppose that is? I love being around happy people. I do not like being around moody people. It's just the way we are. A happy person usually marries a moody person. A moody person will never marry a moody person. Nobody wants to hang around with an unhappy or a moody person. No, all people want to be happy people. So I asked Becky, who the moody one is in our marriage, and what do you think she's saying? Thanks. Now I just want to reference Dennis Prager. I got this from Dennis Prager in his book. So, well, after some vigorous persuasion, Becky admitted that I am the happy one. And that just alone made me happy. But she is generally happy, and I rarely see her moody. So why did she admit that I am the happy one? She wanted to make me happy, and that is what happy people do. Now, I may not be the happiest one in our marriage, but I do make every effort to make her happy. I guess that's what makes me a happy person as well. Truth number 5, happiness comes with a grateful attitude, and this is important. We have to be thankful for everything, even thankful for the situation that we're in today here in the United States. Dennis says all happy people are grateful. Ungrateful people cannot be happy. We tend to think that being happy leads to complaint, but it's truer to say that complaining leads to becoming unhappy. So if you're a complainer, stop it, and perhaps your unhappiness will go away. Now, how's that for some wisdom? So ask yourself, are you happy? Are you grateful and happy? Or are you ungrateful and not happy? The grateful person is thankful. He is beholden to people. She is indebted or obliged to those who help us or help her. Appreciative folks who say a kind word to us. The grateful person is usually enthusiastic about helping people. So if you're grateful, you will be enthusiastic about making a difference in another person's life. And that is the key to genuine happiness in our life. So how do we become more grateful, thankful, appreciative, and enthusiastic? We begin by being grateful to the Lord for his love and kindness, for his blessing and his encouragement. And then we follow that with being thankful and expressing it vocally. Thank everyone you meet for being so kind to you. Thank everyone you meet and say something uplifting and kind to them. Truth number 6, an attitude of gratitude is the key to happiness. And anything that undermines gratitude must undermine happiness. That's from Dennis. Ask yourself if you are filled with gratitude, and if not, what has removed it from your life? Life is difficult, but Christ always sees us through. And for that, we can be grateful. He has seen me through everything from the time I was born until where I am today. If you are not grateful for your wife and her loyal faithfulness, ask why not. Gratitude is essential to having a happy life. And the first person that you need to be grateful to is your wife and your children, and then your friends, and then your church family, and even your pastor, if you can do that. Nothing undermines truth number 7. Nothing undermines gratitude as much as high expectations. When you expect nothing except from God, you will not be disappointed except for God. Or I'm sorry, when you expect nothing except the things that God has promised to give you, you will not be disappointed and you will not lose God's happiness. When you humble yourself, you are essentially lower in your expectations of other people. And so when you're humble, you have lower expectations, which can lead to happiness. That is why there is so much joy in a person's heart when they humble themselves and totally submit to Christ. It's a beautiful thing when somebody discovers Christ and who he is, what he stands for, and his promises. I've seen many people come to tears with great joy and happiness because of this event in their lives. It is when you humble yourself that you totally rely on Christ in all spiritual matters, and you will find balance. And when you find balance, your happiness and joy will return. People will disappoint you. It cannot be helped. We are all subject to a fallen world and our fallen nature. But make every effort to remember this. It will keep you humble and happy if you continue to obey the Lord and lower your expectations. I ask you to leave room in your heart for expectations that are not met. Expectations will generally disappoint you because people are so unpredictable. So accept nothing and you will never be unhappy. Expect nothing and you will never be unhappy. And as you make your life about Christ and other people, you will find great joy and great happiness in your life. Now, if you really like this message, here's what I ask you to do. I ask you to call me and say, Pastor, I am so thankful that you spoke about happiness. I appreciate the work you put into it. I am indebted to you because I am going to become a happy person. I am much obliged. Have a nice day, Pastor. And I am confident that your call will be with me for the whole day. Your encouragement, your uplifting. I will think, that's really nice of that person to say things about me. Then the next day, I want you to do it again, only twice a day. Call your pastor and tell him how thankful you are for him and what he does. Do this daily for a week and maybe even for a month. And I assure you that you will be lifting me up and giving me some of your happiness when you do this. I may even call you back and encourage you for being so generous in your kindness. The call and so tell your pastor, tell your friends, tell your husband how much you appreciate them. And tell them that without you, my life would not be happy at all. So find another person and then repeat this process. I say this because making other people happy is a moral obligation. We are called to go and encourage and uplift and bring people to a new understanding of life. And when we do that, we are doing the right thing, which is a moral thing. Each of you have an obligation to bring happiness to other people in their lives. So why not start with me? Call me up. Tell me how great the message was and that you're going to do it all you can. And encourage me. There's a good start. I'm not going to make a deal out of it, but it'll give you practice one time so that you can go and begin to do that with others. 1 Thessalonians, Paul writes, therefore encourage one another, and I'm going to substitute make happy, and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. Then Hebrews, Paul writes, in Hebrews, let us not give up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but let us encourage one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. So I have more on happiness. I'd like to speak about it next week. And I think the things that we had to really think about as I wrap this up is that a happy attitude comes from an attitude of gratitude. And so let's make every effort to be thankful for all the things we have. Let's express that vocally so that others can glean from our happiness and make a difference in the lives of other people. We thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.